Welcome back, one and all, to another exciting edition of Transformers Reviews. Well, today, guys, as you know, we are taking a look at our boy Towline here.
Now for some payback! Towline transform!
And I have always thought it was kind of a weird choice to use Scraphook, which, don't get me wrong, Scraphook is great, and he rocks the Mad Max aesthetic because that's the whole junkion thing, is Mad Max style. So it is a little bit weird to see Towline's color scheme applied to that mold with all the bumps and the gnarly bits on it, but it doesn't make me dislike the figure altogether. Maybe it just means that Towline's gotten a little bit edgier whenever he got maybe upgraded. So, okay, we'll roll with that sort of reasoning, I guess. However, like I said, it is a really good mold. Scraphook definitely did prove that to us. And I love the little hits of purple, and you know, he's obviously got his lime green, and of course one of the best colors out there, orange. And then the silver hits, yeah, it works all around. Now, one thing that I've always kind of thought about when I looked at these kind of spiked shields is it sort of reminds me of Rhinox chain guns of Doom. Which, let's just kind of see how this looks. Oh yeah. If you wanted to have, oh yeah. Thank goodness for 5mm compatibility. You gotta love it. Now, there's not a whole lot of figures I can really show you him in comparison to other than more modern figures like Clamp down here. On the R.I.D shelf, he's kind of like a surrogate for Prowl, and that's kind of not a really bad scale between these two. I think that they actually are pretty much one-to-one for each other. Now, if we go ahead and pull in an original Prowl mold, and this is the Universe Inferno version, you can see that it's a little bit more out of scale than he was with Clampdown, and I mean, but at least you know how he looks now with one of the original molds. And here is Towline rocking his new mold, and I gotta say that you know, it's not as noticeable, again, with that Mad Max styling in robot mode. It does feel a little bit more like the character it's supposed to be. And yeah, that's, oh, yes. And I like the fact that, unlike Scraphook, I feel like I can be a little bit more free with where I have the accessories, like with the smokestacks on his back as opposed to the arm, and having this as like maybe a handheld sort of weapon as opposed to one that's arm mounted. Now, you can go ahead and mount the spike shield like you see on Scraphook, but you know, we're going to play loose with the rules because one of the things that he does also have like Scraphook is the little minuscule blasters, which I have never felt really did this mold justice. So again, that's why we're going to play loose with the rules and kind of let him have a machine gun sort of blaster. But you can see that, oh man, you don't want to mess with this guy. Look at, oh yeah, that looks really cool. I mean, he did have a wrecker gun.
Wrecker gun!
So, you know what, it works really well. And I mean, look at that head sculpt. I mean, that is definitively Towline. And yes, I'm sorry. I'm really glad to pick this guy up. So never having had a Towline figure before, this is not a bad first one, to be honest. I'm digging it because in addition to him being the character he is, he now has the capability of being taken from Scraphook's mold to do something in particular. And doesn't our boy look fabulous merged with Clampdown? Man, I like how the green, lime green, just really kind of pops with the white and the black that he's rocking. And it's a very kind of spearmint flavor that I'm getting right now as far as the colors go. However, the one thing that we always addressed with Scraphook was the fact that you can put all the armaments and the limbs and stuff, but it kind of leaves the cab section kind of doing its own thing. We basically made a cannon emplacement out of it, and I honestly feel like that's the best use of the only piece that gets left over because it doesn't have any male ports to plug into like Clampdown's back or anything like that. So I was like, well, you know, we already had the model with our junkion pal, so let's go ahead and imitate it with our new boy. And even though the Dinobots are maybe a little bit too big to hide behind the emplacement, I think it still looks really good. So kind of some final thoughts on Towline here is that it kind of feels like some of the tolerances for his joints are a little bit better than they were on Scraphook, and that just may have been my copy, but all the time our other boy, his arms were like popping off at the elbows, and Towline really doesn't have that problem. A lot of his tolerances, like whenever you are pulling him apart to do the combiner thing, or weaponizer thing, I guess. I mean, just all around, it seems like some small things have been tweaked, which usually that's not the case on a reuse of a pre-existing mold. Like I said, that's just could have been my copy of Scraphook, but Towline seems to be quite the improvement. And with that being said, guys, I will see you next time in another review.